Guys, I guess where I'd like to start is, let's just talk a little bit about what the guys are facing right now and kind of how we can use the mental game to help them get through it and to complement and supplement what you're doing.
Yeah, so I think, as you know, and you have a son who faces off, so it's super relevant. But the NCAA has proposed, the rules committee has proposed changing the face-off rules so that no one can face off knee down or motorcycle grip during college, right?
Mhm.
And what this means potentially for high schoolers, because it's always worked this way, is high school and youth lacrosse will soon follow, probably within a year. Now, these are just proposed, and even if I've heard they're voting July 22nd, say it were to pass, it's experimental for fall ball. Now, with coronavirus, I don't know if there will be a fall ball, so it could just pass and we'd have to just blanket let it fly for the 2021 season. So we have college kids all the way down to kids who've just started facing off, calling, emailing, writing to us, texting, very, very upset that hundreds or thousands of hours that they've worked on this craft seemingly, and I don't think this is true, but they think it's going to waste, right? And now a lot of the components, concepts are all going to remain the same. And obviously hearing and reacting to that whistle is going to be identical. It's just a little bit of a different like mechanics with the motion. But I think that a lot of these guys are dealing with stress, frustration, anxiety about how they're going to succeed going forward if they do make these rules official.
Yeah. So when they're giving you a call, when they're texting you, when you're working with them in sessions, like what's the feel? How are they managing it? And what type of feedback are you giving them?
My feedback is that the kids who've been good are good for a reason. We always tell this to kids that can't. They're good because they work harder than most other people. They're good because they do extra stuff, even when they're not physically facing off. They're watching film or they're working out, right? They do more than the average guys. Now there's kids who are genetically inclined to be a little bit stronger, faster, right? Better reacting to the whistle. But through practice, we can get through all of that. Now, what and so I've been encouraging them, hey, it's not for certain. We're going to practice both right now. We're going to have you ready if it does change. And if it doesn't, you're going to have two different skill sets that you can now employ when you are taking face off. But like what we've kind of seen, and Jim can probably speak more to like some of what the parents have emailed regarding questions, is frustration,
Yeah.
stress, feeling like time has gone to waste and that they're helpless, and being really anxious. Like kids who are going into college to be freshmen are worried about getting cut and losing their scholarships because they don't know if they're going to succeed anymore because things have completely changed. And kids who are in high school who have committed are worried about losing that scholarship that was verbally promised to them, right? Or kids are worried about losing their starting spot. So there's a lot of what ifs. And we've always talked about this. They let, the doubts, the fears, all that stuff creep to the forefront and not just focus on what's right ahead of them, the reality of the situation, which is that we can all adapt and change. Change is the only constant. And we've tried, like, I'm not an advocate for the rules whatsoever, but I do think that if they were to happen, that's why we're here. We have a plan. We're going to help you guys all be successful.
So that's great. And Jim, do you have anything to kind of add what you're seeing here? Because I think we got a lot to unpack with that right there.
No doubt.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, obviously, I didn't face off. Just a little bit of background on me. Like, I played college hockey and college lacrosse in New England College, and like, it was easy for me to kind of transition to attack just from playing hockey, my whole life and growing up playing lacrosse too. Kind of as an outsider, it definitely is a huge change. I think. Just from my experiences at our camps and clinics and learning from the students and the coaches, like it's definitely going to be a big adjustment period. I understand everyone's frustration, but we actually posted a video today with a perfect example of someone who kind of adapted, I'd like to say, Hunter Forbes. He was knee down moto grip his first 3 years in college, which he made the switch his senior season. To me as an outsider, like that's kind of crazy after like how much I see like
Yeah.
these guys put into, and then he ends up going over 70%. So like, it's definitely a frustrating time period if it does go through, but if you're athletic and you're willing to put the work in, I definitely don't think it's the end of the world. I think that you can easily, make those changes, learn new concepts, learn new ideas and strategies, and kind of implement that. But regardless, like I said, as an outsider, going from being able to clamp the ball and being on a knee to seeing basically standing up and doing completely different things, it's definitely, a pretty huge change. So.
All right. So I kind of love what you guys are giving me because, not only are we dealing with this, right? So for our face-off guys, and Joe, you're right. I have a son who's a face-off guy. So, he's playing around with these ideas as well. But for everybody right now, we've got pretty, uncertain times happening. We have, the time we're recording this, COVID and how that's impacting the community. We have, racial tensions and, riots and protests and people trying to be, good people and figure things out. We have a lot of stuff going on, right? And then for our guys who invest all this time into the face-off stuff, there's a lot of potential uncertainty, right? So I would say that stress is pretty high for a lot of people at the moment. And, one of the things that I've been trying to share with people and get them to think about, because this won't be the only time we encounter stress in our lives. It's right in front of us right now. We're in it. But it won't be the only time. But the idea of don't let the external world dictate your internal experience and your actions, right? So we don't want all the external world to dictate how I feel, nor what I do, right? So when we think about, I guess one of the terms that I think a lot of athletes would throw out right now is, okay, and I've heard coaches say this, so you guys have probably said it or heard it, all right? We want you to be resilient. And we've thrown out the term adapt in adversity, right? So be resilient, be gritty. And, I think most of our athletes would probably say, hey, if I'm resilient, I'm probably a better athlete. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, no doubt.
Okay, right. Well, the thing about resiliency is by definition, right? So resiliency is the ability to, the truest definition is bounce back under stress and under adversity. And, I would adjust that a little bit to say more about bouncing forward in the direction I want to go in. But ultimately, if you want to be more resilient, the only way you can build that capacity is to be in the mix, in stress, and fight your way through it. Right? So for our athletes, part of this is how do we look at the situation and realize this actually could be an opportunity for me. I want to be a more resilient face-off guy. I want to be a more resilient, Jim, in the case when you coaching hockey, a hockey player. Well, I need challenges and I need adversity to build resilience. So how do I kind of take advantage of this situation to propel me forward, to get me better, a better person, a better player, improve that capacity to handle stress? Because once we get playing again, everybody, no matter what their role is going to have to perform when it matters under stress. So we might as well start practicing that now in the current environment we're in. I don't know what your guys' thoughts on that.
I mean, I think that you hit the nail on the head. You got to practice in the environment you're in, which is this is possible. So we're going to plan for the future, but we're also going to live in the present and do what's going to make us successful if and when a lot of these guys are going to be allowed to play this summer. So I don't know if for people listening, there's states where the sports are opening up, right? I booked 2 clinics this week, one in Pittsburgh in the end of June and one early July in Wisconsin. So those 2 things are those 2 areas and many other to follow. Lacrosse is coming back this summer. The rules are not official until they're actually voted on and tried in fall ball, if there is fall ball. So no youth or high school events this summer will likely be affected. And I've had kids ask, well, what if the college coaches there say they want to see it? Guess what? The dead period is through July for college coaches. They're not watching any games this summer because their universities don't want them getting the virus, coming back, coming into the office and spreading it. So for this summer, they just, like you're saying, focus on the present, what you can control. If you have an opportunity where you're beating somebody, your team is a comfortable lead, try using the neutral grip that you've been practicing because we're going to plan for the future as well.
Listen, I would even throw out there, I know you just said, hey, you're beating a team comfortably.
Yeah.
I would even throw out there the idea of, hey, these games, if we don't have college scouts there, I wouldn't wait till we're beating a team comfortably. Let's throw myself in the mix under pressure when it really matters, right? Hey, we're down now, and I really need to help my team out. now's a great time to put yourself in there and see how it goes, to test it, right? Like, so